Okay.
So what we talking about?
You. Syracuse, basketball, college sports, the works.
Let's get it.
Ready? So we got literally, the little directional card thing?
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Well, I mean, it's so we can all time the audio with the cameras. So that way, when I take the audio here for the show, it's going to be all linked up to the cameras.
Got you.
Yeah, so it looks like a little dumb little snap thing you see in the movies.
Yeah.
But it has utility. There's a purpose for that.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Funny.
Funny.
First thing I learned in production. But welcome, dude. Good to see you. See, I like doing that really very, very casual start into the show. Right. Didn't even know it started, but we started.
Okay.
What's going on, dude?
Great. How are you?
Good, man. I really think the last time I saw you, I was thinking about this before we started the show. It's like, I'm gonna lower that because that is loud. It was probably, when I don't think it was when we lost to Ohio State in the Elite Eight. It had to be sometime, probably back at school in Syracuse. But before that, man, I don't think.
Yeah, we caught up.
We haven't caught up or even seen each other.
It's been about a good 7 years, 6-7 years.
Yeah, man, I forget about that. I'm still in my 20s. When I say 20, I'm 29. I'm pushing it.
So I'm 30, by the way. When you be 30, by the way?
End of this year, December 27th.
Okay.
Just 89, by 4 days. I'm 80s baby by 4 days, but right. I really like to push that and brag that.
Right.
But dude, where have you been? What have you been up to?
Man, I've been up to a lot, if I would say. I'm just an entrepreneur. Basketball, just working, just living through the game, actually. Lived in Miami, lived in LA, lived in New York, and Philly. I'm more of a big city guy and try to make my way. Mm-hmm. So now I reside here in LA.
Did you play after college? Did you keep going?
I played literally 2 years. It was my pro career was I broke my foot 2 days before the NBA draft as 2012.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yep. So when that happened, I had to get 2 foot surgeries because I had an infection in my foot. So it kept me out a year. A foot surgery should take 3 to 4 months at the most. Mine took 8. So with the 8 months, I set out that year. But in that year process, I moved to New York City. I worked for 3 different Syracuse alumni at the time. Brandon Steiner, Hal Fettner.
Brandon's been a guest on the show.
He's a great guy, by the way. Hell of a guy. That
His
guy.
energy is the funniest.
So that guy right there taught me life after sports. And that's where I would get into. But when I broke my foot, kind of opened my eyes to, living through the game, but leveraging myself through the game. So I went and worked for Brandon Steiner. He got different Syracuse involved, where I was working for 3 different Syracuse alumni at the time, living in New York, started making good money, and I got to see I can live without basketball, because my whole life I thought basketball was going to be the thing that paid me. Like, basketball was going to be where I was going to make my money at, and I got to work that first year. Of course, I have a master's from Syracuse, so going that route into my first year, it helped me because I was working around some really good people, and I got to see I can do something without basketball but still use the game. So after that year, I went back to playing. I went over to Croatia. I went to Summer League with Cleveland Cavaliers. I was with Dion. We was on the same team. This 2013. I was on the team with Dion in Summer League, and then I got a job to go to Croatia. And when I was in Croatia for 3 months, and I tore my meniscus. So now I got a tore meniscus. I get cut. First time in my life where I've ever been cut from a team where somebody say you can't play, or Boeheim said that to us all the time. But just from a professional standpoint of a team, not even, this is where business started to smack me in my face. And I got to see it was like, I got cut, and then wasn't a notice. My replacement was there that day. They was cutting me. It was like one of those, like, I'm talking about, like, wow, this is real reality.
So in Israel, just you get there. Yeah. I went to become a citizen there, so I went through the whole entire process.
Right.
And I get there, 3 days in, practice is good. I'm still waiting to get my apartment, but I still haven't got my apartment yet. They promised me. And coach calls a meeting with me out of practice. Yeah, just doesn't say you're fired, you're cut. You're learning business, what goes on with contracts. We just don't want you anymore.
Right.
What does that mean? Oh, we're not cutting you. No, we're not cutting you. Just, go home, just don't stay here. But I'm like,
Right.
You're 22. How do you take that in? How do you deal with that?
Exactly.
You know, your agent or your manager isn't in the country.
Agreed.
You got to find a way to, like, you're like freaking out right now.
Right.
You never dealt with this before. You didn't prepare for that.
That
in
was
college, even in college sports.
Agree. Everything you're saying is dead on. And at that time, like I said, my replacement was at my house where he was taking over the house. You know what I'm talking about? So it was one of them situations where I just had got all my stuff sent to me because it took some time, like all the, you know, sneakers, whatever I had sent from the States sent to me, and I just got there. Man, I just left everything to the replacement. I said, keep it all. Like, I was that, you know, you can cuss on here on the show?
Oh, dude, yeah, we're explicit. You can say what you want.
I was that fucked up. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, mentally, like, where I'm like, bro, he looked at me like, I was like, you can have it. I'm talking about new sneakers, new sweatsuits. The guy looked at me like I was crazy. Like, you sure? I'm like, bro, I'm not taking all this back to the States with me. You know what I mean? Like, it just got here. So, went back, got back home. I entered my name in the D-League draft. Got drafted by the Tulsa 66ers, which is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. Was Andy there at that time? 'Cause I know
Andy, that was the year after Andy.
Okay.
He was there the year before me. So
he got screwed in the D-League as well.
D-League, yeah, for sure. So I was there. It was that same team Andy was on, and I rehabbed there. They rehabbed me, got me back healthy. I played a few games in the D-League, probably the second half of the season. I played well, pretty well, but I was coming off an injury, so I wasn't in the best shape. OKC said they was going to bring me to Summer League that summer.
Was Dion there too at that time as well?
He just got there the year after that.
Okay.
I'm about to give it to you. So this 2014, it was going to bring me for Summer League. So I already finished the season out with him, played pretty well. 10 points, 6 assists, limited minutes, played really well. And I'm thinking they rehabbed me, invested in me to rehab, to get me right, get me back healthy. In my head, they're going to bring me to Summer League so I can show what I can really do. Well, that didn't happen. You know, they told me, the whole year you're going to come to Summer League with us, you know, blase, blase. And this is like the second time, again, I got cut in 2013. Now in 2014, I'm getting lied to about Summer League to pursue my dreams. But in the process, I worked for CBS. I worked for Brandon Steiner. I worked for Hal Fettner. I did all that in 2012, where I made really good money. Mm-hmm. You know, so now it was like, it's not about the money, because, of course, basketball is what I love to do, and is what, you know, at that time, I
would have slept on the floor in some of these countries.
For whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't about that. So, but it just the fact that basketball wasn't going right for me. And coming off injuries, I was, you know, at that time, I was heavy as can be. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't really good with my diet. None of that. You didn't get taught that at Syracuse anyway. But sorry, no, I'm playing. But
I mean, they're really gingerly about too.
Let me stop, because Ryan Kabilas is my favorite guy.
He's forever my guy.
Yeah, my guy for sure. He helped
Brad
me.
Pike.
Yes, for sure helped me. Got some of the best trainers. But just in general, my body coming off an injury, I didn't do a great job of getting back right. So I needed to play. I needed to get back healthy and hoop. So the next year, the D-League, I didn't go. Then I'll get back to Philadelphia. I just signed to Austria going into 2015. Being in Philly training at the time, my little brother, who was 17 years old, he was shot and killed, gunned down. Literally, I was right there. Got to see I just got to go through that whole process of just dealing with family emotion when you lose a loved one or somebody. And again, it's my mom's youngest son that kind of crushed me. So now basketball is not going right with me. You know, I'm not really doing anything that I thought I would be doing after I graduated from college. So, and dealing with that was like kind of put me in a depression stage, like where I was suffering from everything, honestly, more depressed than anything, and I didn't know. So I moved down to Florida. You know, I moved to Florida on some just rehab mentally. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how I ended up there, bro.
Florida's the place to do that.
You know, no, seriously. Like I just ended up in Florida. Of course, I had some friends down there, but I wound up going down there and I didn't know. This is the first time I'm taking a real jump with life. No basketball, no, like, you know how my whole life I was a basketball player. It was none of that. I just went to Florida, but didn't even want to tell people my name was Scoop. Like, I was like trying to be like low as possible. You know what I mean? Like,
I get it. It's like, oh, hey, I don't even want to talk about Syracuse.
None of that. Like, I was away from that whole, let me figure me out.
But that's the thing, like, you know, that identity. It's like when you're trying to move past these points, you know, you hit a major crossroads, you know, an impediment in your life. But, you know, when you ask people, like, hey, what's the one thing that you're known about?
they're gonna say that
It's
it's basketball, and it's still to this day. And I'm actually at a place in my life where I know who I am, and I know basketball is a very big part. But at this time, I was suffering from a lot, and I felt like I was a failure because I didn't make it as where I thought I should make it, or where people even thought I should be. So I felt like I didn't want to even be around the people who supported me for so many years. So I'm in Florida. It's funny because that's how I ran into Skip.
Real quick though, I want to go back onto that. How did that make you feel when
I didn't make it?
Not just when you didn't make it, but the way people would talk to you about those things. Like, hey, you would have that reaction to say, "Oh, you're still playing," and they're like, "Oh,
hear me,
you're not playing anymore." Well,
what are you doing here? Still to this day, people when they see me like, "You're not playing nowhere," like, and that's where I'm like, "Dang, everybody thought and they think I should be playing or been in the NBA, whatever." It was never. You gotta love it, and not saying I didn't love it because I still do love it, but I was easy to fall out of love with it. So I think people loved it more for me than I even actually loved it. I love what it gave me, but I didn't. That's what I got to figure out. I didn't love it where you have to be obsessed with it to a point where, you know what I mean? Like for you to go through all those trials and tribulations and still get through it. I went through those trials and tribulations and I looked for something to help me, and that's how I felt commentating. I felt working with Steiners, but I just love business.
That's interesting you say that.
You know what I mean?
Especially
Like
with the people around you sometimes wanting it more.
They wanted it more than I even wanted it for myself. So that's what made me get to reality. Like when I used to lie to my dad when I was in Philly at the time training, I just signed a deal to go to Austria. Really okay money, but it was an opportunity. And I was training that whole summer, and I wasn't training like I should have. Like I know how I should be training. We come from where we have the notes to the test. It's just about studying it. So I'm in Philly. My dad had asked me, you know who my father is. He had asked me, "Did you work out today?" And I would lie to him. Like, yeah,
I'm
I
surprised
did.
he wasn't there like at
the
gym
workout. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I would lie to him. Like, yeah, I wanted to work out, and I found myself lying to the people who I felt like loved and wanted me to do this more than I actually wanted to do it. So when that happened, I had to leave Philly. I had to move to Florida, and it wasn't about sports. It wasn't about anything. And again, my brother just had passed away. I just wanted to just help kids. So I started a whole program with this guy named Dwight Jones, Skip, who you know. It was called Scoop Dreams. And the slogan, we were scooping kids off the street, getting them a better opportunity. You know what I mean? Like where I was just dealing with a tragic situation with my brother being killed. So it was like, I just wanted to be around kids who loved to play basketball. It wasn't about making money. It wasn't no business behind it. It's just this what they love to do. So I went back to when I was 12 years old or 13 years old, where basketball just was fun, if that makes sense. So
it does. A bunch of guys I know who've like even Nick,
yeah,
who worked in the NBA.
NBA, yeah,
worked with the Nets, and just he's working with kids, and he's just like, yeah, man,
it's fun. It's a teaching point, and it gets you back to reality, and that's what helped me because it helped me cope with what I was dealing with my little brother who got gunned down. He was young. He didn't get a chance to go to college. He didn't get a chance to play basketball. So to see a lot of kids chasing their dreams, like I have, and it got me out of Philadelphia. It was a beautiful thing to be in Florida and helping a whole bunch of kids who didn't know me from a can of paint. Like they had to Google to see who I was, and I became that guy. Oh, you play with Deion Waiters, or oh, you play with Michael Carter Williams, because now these guys is in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So it became like I got cool stripes off of that.
Yeah, that's my roommate, right?
Yeah, like oh, you know what I mean. Like so that helped me get back to the love for the game. And again, I got to see that's the first business I started was a 501c3, but it was a business as far as it's
C-Corp, man.
You
can't beat it.
Yeah, nonprofit, and I got to see I can raise money. I got to see people actually really had an eye out for what I was trying to do. So that put me right into business right away. So I moved back to New York, and I started working for this title company called Commonwealth Land Title, and I got that job through a Syracuse alumni who walked me into the office and basically got me hired. And that's where I got to see you got to know people who know people. You know what I mean? Like where life became about like who you know, and I started to leverage myself with all the Syracuse alumni that I met through the years of us going through them banquets, signing autographs.
I think people don't really we weren't taught that properly, and I think there's a pride thing that especially comes with the athletes that
right.
I'm too good. I don't need this. I'm proud. I'm strong enough to do this on my own.
Right.
When, it's not a handout. It's help.
Help,
and there's
right.
no problem with going out and reaching out to people that want to help you.
Yes.
Helped you in the past and
yes.
Continue to help you in your future.
So that's what helped me. Like honestly, more than anything, and I say this to just where I'm at today was like by me leveraging myself with the Syracuse with the alumni at Cuse, it was easy. It wasn't wasn't fake because I spent so much time with a lot of the alumni up there where we might have a banquet, we might have a, in the summertime we work for these guys or we work for the ladies like
Watched
Joyce.
a few boats.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Where you also building a relationship with these people already. You know what I mean? Like, so I got to see that part, and they actually want to help you.
They do.
You know what I mean? Every day, it's not no school in the country who have alumni that's a part of the basketball, football. I'm talking about from the athletic standpoint that doesn't want to help the kid, that don't want to help us at all. So where I have found myself in a great situation where I had 4 Syracuse alumni all giving me a job. So from Monday to Thursday, I was working for each alumni. You know what I mean? Like, so I got to see I was a blessed kid in that process of doing that, and it helped me create this what I was talking about with the company I created called Life After Sports. And Life After Sports is basically helping us college athletes who we all got dreams of making the NBA. When you came to college, even as a walk-on, you felt like you could play in the NBA.
I didn't think about anything else. I thought,
you understand I'm going at, and
I'm going to play basketball, and no matter
professionally, you know what I mean?
did, and I got injured like yourself, and had all these concussions and neck injuries and back injuries, where it got to the point for me, like, you finally wake up and everybody's around you, like, hey, listen, I'm scared for your health. Like,
right.
I don't want you to play basketball anymore because you can't take another hit to your head, and you can't get another concussion.
That's scary. It's
scary, but at 24, you have a dream, and I think, which is the hard thing, and kudos to you for going to helping these kids. But where does it get to a point that we tell these kids, like, hey, this is a crazy dream, but how there's still a place missing where we can't give them these unique experiences,
right?
Especially with college athletes.
Right.
You and I didn't have time to go and do these jobs or these internships at the moment in school.
Well, yeah, we could.
After school, though, we can, but a lot of guys, again, either don't want to take on the opportunity or are afraid to ask, or they're lost.
We don't know
They're
how
hurt.
to. We don't even know how to speak to.
They're broken.
Exactly. And with that being said, I came up with this cool idea. Like, I want to really teach, like, athletes more how you leverage yourself, even if you don't make the NBA. Just by going to college alone, that big TV deal that the NCAA, and every year the whole world is watching you on national TV in March. Mm-hmm. The entire world is watching the NCAA tournament. That's how big it is. So you mean to tell me for 4 straight years we went to what? We went to Elite 8, Sweet 16s. So people really know me. Even to this day, I'm walking.
A lot of wins.
Well, a lot of wins.
And they're all gone now.
For sure, but not to us. So yeah, it is going, by the way.
I still got my rings in my room. Trust
me.
me.
I got all that, and they can't take that from us. But yeah, with that being said, it was like how you leverage yourself with life, and I think I did a great job with that. I haven't. Don't get me wrong. I've been all over the board, but I've been working for myself, I'm making good money. I lost money. I built great relationships, and I'm still living through the game of basketball. I can walk down the street in New York City, even LA, and people are like, oh, Scope Jardine. Like, it's like people still know who I am, and it's fucking 8 years later, bro. You know what I mean? Like, where that shows you where you don't have to be in the NBA, or you don't have to, play professional basketball in Europe. You can still leverage, because that's what college did for us. And I say that to say I don't think the coaches help us enough. So I came up with this cool idea with trying to teach players how to leverage themselves, like mainly point guards and quarterbacks, who I got a philosophy where if you're a quarterback or of a NCAA college team, Division I, even a point guard, you basically a COO of a company. When you think about it, like, in so many words, you're a COO of a company. Like, for example, when I was the starting point guard at Cuse, Bayham is the head guy. I was the leader on the court. I was the coach on the floor, if that makes any sense. So I ran the guys. You know what I mean? Like, I had to lead back there. You did the same.
Practice guys.
You did the same thing to your group.
Get these walk-ons
you
ready.
did the same thing to
Let's
your
go
group.
over the entire place. Who am I going to play today?
You
Today
did the
I'm Corey
same.
Fisher.
So my point exactly. So you were Corey Fisher. So we all getting taught these skills through the game of basketball, but these skills translate to life. When I went and started working in the real world, where I was working for a company in sales is very competitive, just like sports, and I got to see all the stuff I learned in basketball came back in when I was in business. First to the office. What that mean? We the first to the bus, right? To leave.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, the first to the office, the last one to leave the office. First one to the gym, we the last one to leave the gym. It's like a lot of little things I learned from sports and being a point guard, and how to deal with people, how to tolerate people. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't necessarily have to like you, but I know I had to still get you the rock for you to score a bucket. You know what I mean? Like, where all these things in these business that I've learned through the game of basketball, and I translated in sport and business, and it actually helped me. And I don't think that is being taught or it's out there like that, where a lot of kids can really translate and really make it in life. Now with, social media is being big as it is, and you coming out with a college athlete coming out with, when I left school, I had 30,000 followers on Twitter, 20,000 followers on Instagram. Right away, I'm famous. I'm known.
Mm-hmm.
You can leverage yourself, and now with today's world, you can be very successful, and you don't need. Not saying you don't want to play in the NBA or chase your dreams, but it's so much more out there for you. Just that, and that can save you from the suffering, the heartache of if you don't make it, and the depression. That's what a lot of guys. If you see the NBA guys coming out and was speaking about the depression about just being depressed in general. Like DeMar DeRozan spoke about it, Kevin Love spoke about it.
Translating is really tough. Translating the game of, like you said, especially the skills and the things that you're good at.
Yeah.
And that's been the tough thing for me because physically, you're gonna have to kill me in order to beat me in something.
Mm-hmm.
You can vouch for that. So it's like if we're gonna go do something, like you said, okay, let me say that I'm just gonna work hard and everybody in the office. I'm gonna get there, but the big point still is the skills. Like you don't we really, really, really miss out on learning those unique business skills. Because I don't want to be the guy who's just out working everybody in producing podcasts and putting stuff out because I'm killing myself and I don't want to be
the person you are. I
don't want to physically take that work ethic. Oh, I want to take parts of that work ethic. That'll always be there, but I don't want to. I want to be smarter.
There you go. They always said that it's not working really hard. Where hard work is working smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, you know what I mean? Like, you see a guy like Paul Harris. He's one of the hardest working guys I see, besides yourself, but a lot of times he didn't work smart. You know what I mean? He'd go run miles and miles, but would still be out of shape, if that makes sense. Coach would be like, how you out of shape when you running all the time? But
physically, he's looks like an Adonis, a Greek god, chiseled.
Yes, buff. But he wasn't in the best shape, and Paul would attest to this as he got to be a professional. If you look at him now, he's lean. He's in great shape, and he's having a hell of a career now after overseas.
I thought he was in the Philippines. He was playing out in Asia. But where's he?
He's in Europe. He's in EuroLeague. Like, he's really doing really good for himself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Paul panned out really well, but the thing what helped him was he learned his body. He learned how to get in better shape. And in college,
we'll say.
Yeah, and in college, that wasn't the case, and I got to see he was one of the hardest workers I ever seen, but he didn't work smart. So, and working smart helps you. So I feel like that's the biggest thing is you work hard, but you also have to work smart.
Yeah, you said an interesting thing. The coaches when we were playing, like, it didn't really put you in those situations. I wouldn't say basketball wise, but
life.
in the real world, life wise.
Yeah.
And
what they actually do though, think about it.
I was gonna say, is it more of the NCAA? Is it more of the school? For us, Syracuse itself, or is it more of, like you said, the coaches?
It's
like
the
you look
coaches.
at like a professional sports team. It's not just about the players anymore. It's not just about the coach or the GM. You got to have a whole three-headed monster working together and working well. There's too many great talents in the NBA for you all to not get to. Oh wow, these guys got 5 All-Stars on this team, 5 All-Stars on this team. Everybody has those capabilities, but you need the coaching staff, the GM, and everybody buying together.
Right. No, I agree. I think what was set up when I only could speak from where we went to Syracuse, it was more of a, remember after practice we have to sign thousands of autographs?
Oh my God.
You know where those autographs was going to, right?
No.
It was going to every Syracuse fan or alumni who was somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it was certain different, but you remember we had to sign autographs a lot. After practice, after when we tired, nobody even want to do it.
Hundreds.
What about when we go to those banquets and we sitting with an alumni who donated money? And this is what I got to understand. Now I'll be sitting at a table with a stranger that I didn't know, and a lot of us, but we on our phone, not engaging who around us. I wasn't that guy. I was always talking, and I'm sure you was too, where I was talking to who was at the table. I got to see who did what was what, and now you put me around these people. Now I'm saying, oh, Brandon Reese, you work at such and such in New York City, and now when I come to New York, I hit you up.
Usually the older women. You're my favorite player. I usually got.
Oh yeah, that big was. But yeah, again, even with that, they were some successful women.
Yeah.
It was that what it was that what banquet was that?
The coaches versus cancer at the end of the year, where he would have.
No, I'm talking when we sat with all the females and we had to take our shirt off.
Dude, you can't do that today's day and age. The Miss Orange banquet.
The Miss Orange banquet, like
where
all wives, bro, all wives,
and. Yeah, it's all women's banquet. We'll give you a little background and context. I don't know if it's still in existence. I don't know if you could still do something like this today. And we were auctioned off as players
Serious, like just keep going. Like it's crazy.
Who is gonna have the tandem of Brandon and Scoop sit at their table for lunch to raise money for kids with cancer, or I don't know, Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Make-A-Wish, yeah, Make-A-Wish, yeah, Make-A-Wish.
And we got us up there, taking our shirts off, flexing up there, and I'm just like, oh wow, I don't know if you can still do that today. It might be.
And for them to auction you off, I mean, one time I went for a lot. Like I forget what it was. I raised probably like $5,000 and didn't take my shirt off. Like literally, it was like. But again, I was pretty good in basketball. They knew who I was, but they would be up there bidding on you.
But do you think that's fair? Fair to athletes to be in that position and not say, hey, these people are bidding on me because of what I can do as a player, and not to see any money out of that?
So agreed. This is what I'm giving you at. I'm about to explain. I think it's not fair, but how you. Like, what we gonna cry about? I'm a guy, like, we can't fix it. What we gonna cry about it? How can you benefit from it? That, you know what I mean? And how I feel like you can benefit from it is when I sat at that table with those ladies or the husband, I got out what I needed to, I got from them what I needed to get from them. If that was, a job, I was always thinking about long term, if that makes sense. That's what I feel like hurt me in the sense of my basketball career, because I knew basketball was just a short part of my life. Always knew it. And people tell you that, you don't want to hear it, but I always knew it. You know what I mean? I knew that before anybody tell me. I knew basketball was just very short for me. And Hop said it one time, you're going to do so much better when basketball's over. And at first, I just took that as disrespect. Like, what do you mean I'm going to do great after basketball?
I'm a basketball player.
I'm already, you know what I mean? Like, there's
nothing before that or after that.
But I got to see what he meant now that I'm going through life, what he mean, And I think it's hard to get all kids to think this way, but with the program that I want to start is more so going back to the schools and really helping the coach, though. Nobody help. We don't have a program that help the head coaches look out for this. Coach Boeheim, you see how he was. Derek Coleman is in the locker room, and anybody want to go sit and talk to him, pick his brain, go ahead. But it wasn't forced. I'm not saying DC was. I'm just using that example, but it wasn't forced. If that makes any sense. I mean, one time we had a guy, Nico Harris, guy from Nike, and this, I think this Johnny was there. This was
I was there with Johnny.
Yeah,
it was my freshman
year when Nico, the guy from Nike, he was Kobe rep. He came and talked to us at the practice, and we sat in the locker room. You probably left, but we sat with this guy for hours. And to this day, this guy is one of my mentors, literally. And it was because I got to pick his brain. And I got to see, like, damn, his job that he has is something that I would love to do. And I'm literally, he flying all over the world with Kobe. He worked for Nike. Like, and he was a professional. I mean, he played basketball. He was a D1 athlete. And I'm like, when I met Nico, I'm like, wow, this is something I would take that job. I would love to work for Nike. And I got to see something different right there than making NBA. You know what I mean? But if you put people around us athletes, like if they brought us back, and it's very cool to see what we doing now. And in social media, these kids is following me. That's what helping me now. A lot of these young kids are really following me on social media. They hit me up, ask me about life after sports, and that's why I got to see this is a program that was really needed. You know what I mean? Like where you leveraging yourself, whatever these schools is bringing, so many people with money and very successful. Like we got one of the biggest alumni out here, George Hicker. Big time money. He donated big time money to Syracuse. You know what I mean?
That Melo Center. Well, he was like $2 to $4 million.
Yeah, he's one of the ones.
Just as much as Melo put in. Yeah.
Yes, just as much.
There was a battle over who could put their name on the block.
My point exactly. So, so there's people that went to these schools that have just as much money as athletes, and they ain't running up and down no court. But I've learned success. You all have to. You must work out. You must stay success. All successful people training and eating healthy, and that goes with just successful and self-success. You know what I mean? But we taught that already as athletes. So how you translate all of that and get the most out of the real world, and that's what I want to teach the kids.
But what about the mid-major D1?
Same
low
one.
D1?
Same.
Is they still have the same opportunity?
Same opportunity. Because again, you coming out with all these unique skills.
But I'm talking about like even alumni. Some people might not have a Syracuse or a Harvard backing of alumni.
But I'm sure the basketball team or the football team has a better opportunity of meeting whatever top alumni it is at that school than a regular kid.
Definitely.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like it's like we also treated special also. So even at a low mid or mid-major or low, you still have an opportunity to meet. Your coach can get you in touch with somebody faster than a regular student.
But you're trying to reassess what is value. What is value for a student athlete?
Student athlete, yes.
And we're spending a lot of our time as student athletes or former student athletes.
Mm-hmm.
We go to class, we go to practice.
Right.
After the games, you get $20 per diem money.
Yeah.
Nothing's open.
Nothing open.
We're in upstate New York. Where are you going to spend $20 besides that, a drive-through?
Right.
And my biggest takeaway, what I never understood, we think about Syracuse being the biggest on-campus
crowd,
one of the 3 schools on campus that can serve alcohol. And
Sheesh,
so
I never knew that.
So let's just say we averaged 30,000 people a game back when we were at school.
Facts.
And you're getting, let's just say it's $5 a beer. And they're selling 15,000 beers or 20,000 beers. We're talking 75 to 100K. And who are the people making sure those people are in the stands?
Us.
But I'm a 9th, 10th person player, or
Right.
11, 12. You're a 1 through 5.
Right.
I'm not saying I get the same amount of money, but where is that guy whose people are coming to make sure they see to get money and value if we're trying to value a college education? As like, hey, we're just saying you're worth $50,000 and we're giving you an education, but the education,
But you also not
just
getting
an education.
But look at how many kids are going to school taking an education. When you go into a Syracuse, you're going there to go to the NBA. Not saying everybody, but that's your mentality. I know for me, I didn't.
Yeah, but you can't go into that because the chance of going to the NBA are still less than 1%.
Right.
We're talking even 0.5%. So I mean, what is it? What value is the NBA giving you for the value that these college athletes are really giving to the university? Is there an even value?
I see what you're saying. I don't think so. I don't think it's a value. I think it's like slavery, bro. Just like in the way with the NCAA, they paying you, you're not getting paid. And then how you gonna pay me the same as you as a walk-on? If that make any sense?
Yeah.
My senior year, I had the highest selling jersey over Anthony Davis. Our senior year, we was no one in the country for 8 weeks.
Good times.
So with that being said, the number 11 jersey that was sold was the highest selling jersey in college basketball. I didn't get $1 off it. You know what I mean? Like, you know how I felt when I've learned that stat? It was crazy. But again, I took all of what I did, leverage. Like I told you, I worked for CBS. Syracuse is one of the number 1 broadcast school in journalism.
I wish I learned any of that before I started all this.
No, seriously.
I learned all this on my own.
Bro, I got a job with CBS because they used to watch my interviews and they saw that I was actually good with the media. Mm-hmm. I was working in New York one day, walking down the street, lunch break. I was at Chipotle and a guy from Syracuse alumni, worked for CBS. Like, Scoop, what are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm working in real estate with Howard Fentner. He was like, you should come by the studio and work. A lot of Syracuse alumni. Next thing you know, I found myself in the same studio with Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith. I did the road to the Final Four, and I used to go to the studio every night and do the college breakdown. And it was but it was all Syracuse alumni in there. You know what I mean? So I feel like you can, and yeah, Syracuse is one of the biggest as far as networking schools, but you can leverage yourself other than don't look at, I know we should be getting paid, but don't focus on that, if that makes any sense. That's my biggest thing on that. For sure, we should be getting paid. And for sure, I don't think we ever is going to be getting paid. I just don't see it happening because you can't pay.
Because it's the only option. The problem is that's the only option. There's literally, I look at it as I'm a very anarchist kind of person, so I look at it as a mafia style, just like the U.S. government. Like, hey, pay taxes. If you don't pay taxes,
you can log
they're gonna fuck you. You're in big trouble, and that's it's a power.
Right.
And same thing goes to NCAA. This is the only restaurant in town. And you and I who want to go cook, we have to go cook out of that restaurant.
Fact.
Because that's the only place that's going to give us the opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a stranglehold. And we're going to say, hey, this is all we're going to give you. This is all we think this is worth and that you're worth, this education. But I think the greater scheme and the greater question is like how we value our time and how we value ourselves as human beings on a daily basis. Because you're lucky to be a very, very charismatic individual.
Right.
And a hungry individual will say, okay, this is great. I'm optimistic. I'm going to turn everything I have. But again, you're still a small percentage. Remember, 99% of people aren't great at anything. And that even includes us as professional athletes.
Right.
And I'm a mean person. I'm going to go out and say it. 99% aren't great at anything. It's fact.
Right.
I'm not great at anything outside of basketball. I'm trying to become great at other things. I'm trying to be. I'm working my ass off.
You spend your most time doing that. It's vice versa. Like, but
what's that worth if that's 4 years of you not making money and making, if you're trying to be smart and be the most optimal with your time and efficient to make money, how is that situation? Is that, as you said, more hurting people?
Yeah.
Or, having more negative, detrimental experience to these kids, or a positive one? Because like you said, you're trying to help these kids who may or may not ever even have the chance of playing college ball. You want to give them an opportunity to say, hey, I want to make sure you have a jersey. We're going to play travel ball on the weekends, because you and I experience it. It's a great thing. It's exciting. It's an adventure. It's a great place to have young guys and girls to grow and experience and connect with people outside of their own cities.
Facts.
But
that's what AAU help.
But again, like, if they're never going to make it because it's a 1% thing that you're going to, less than a percentage, you're going to make it to the NBA, and then you're going to tell them to go to college, and then most of them are going to be like us, or maybe even more like me, to say, oh, no, I'm going to be a basketball player. That's it. Fuck everything else. I'm not even going to think about, my life and career outside of this, because I'm going to be a basketball player forever.
That's how I was.
I mean, look at the documentary Broke, the 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Even these guys, when they make that money, they're not taught how to spend it.
My point exactly. So you hit it right on the nose. So you got coaches knowing, for example, every year we play with an NBA player, right? That went to the NBA. Somebody went to the NBA every year from Syracuse.
Yeah.
How many people we had come talk to us about money? Or how to save our money? Or how to even, I'm talking about alumni that we know that's very successful. We named a few on the show that's very successful, that done great with their money.
And they've all been really nice after the fact. And connecting a network, yeah.
So how many did we have come sit and talk to us? Or educate our family. Or say, okay, Brandon Reese, I know you got a chance to play in the NBA, so let me put you in touch with, what's your name? Bryant, who's a great money investor. Let me put your family in touch with him. Let me educate your family, your mom and them, because we know you about to go to the league. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even see that happening. And that could be easily done. Brian can talk to your mom and educate her on money.
Yeah, there's really no community around the college sports game.
Kids is going to the NBA. You know us kids going to the NBA every year from Syracuse, or having a chance to play professional basketball and making money. But again, it's designed for you to fail. That's my thing with it. And I think even with the athletes that's doing great with life after sports, we not teaching it.
What part what part of it's designed so you fail?
You get money at 20, you give it back at 30. Because you don't have no sport, you don't have no knowledge on money. Literally, they give you money at 19, 20 years old. You have a 10-year career and you're broke by 30. It's designed for you to fail, literally. And an average person, I feel like, in business or even in just, you don't make it till you about 35 in real life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where you learn, where you already went through ups and downs. And, like, I feel like with athletes, we forced to figure it out at 20. Be a grown man and really have, and now your voice is, but you don't really know. You're only 21. You're 20 years old. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really have it figured out yet. So why not, if you're going to give us that money earlier, we eligible to have that money earlier, we should have that education. LeBron was definitely a perfect, model of it. He was very put together and he had a good support system. Yeah. But I think we still don't even follow that. And you don't have to do it on a bigger scale. It don't have to be as big as LeBron, but you still can follow the moves that was made. And I think today's kids that have a better opportunity because of the information.
Would you think it'd be better if these kids didn't have to go to college at this age? Because I think what you mentioned with athletes, and I think this is not just with athletes, but we're the first real coming to life experience as a young man or young woman in the United States is going to college. Some people, don't really travel. They don't really leave the place they're from. Yes. And their first real world experience outside their families or parents or people they know, think about right now, like just bad sexual experiences that happen with people who go to college. Like, this is their first sexual experience. And you think about a frat house, this dirty, disgusting place, and they're having their first intimate moment with another individual. Like, oh, wow, this person's going to have a negative idea about what sex is maybe for the rest of their life now.
But then people say it's college. Yeah.
But again, it's like, oh, well, it's just college. Like, that's just a brush off. Like, oh, it's just okay. And the same thing goes with athletes. We're having these 18 to 22-year-olds who aren't thinking outside of 30 years old or 10 or 20 years down the line. They're thinking, I'm playing basketball. I should be able to do this the rest of my life. Yeah. But you tear a meniscus. You get 5 to 7 concussions. Right. You fuck up your neck and your back, and you can't walk and you can't sleep, and you're popping 100 How many Tylenols,
pills,
I'm sure,
yeah.
have you taken in your lifetime?
Ibuprofen. Phew.
I don't know how my kidneys and livers are still working. I've
Right.
had a kidney reconstruction surgery. I mean, got my
Wow.
kidney popped in Kuwait, ruptured.
Serious.
I'm playing a $10,000 cash game out there.
Wow. How was that experience, by the way?
It was great, man. I was raised Jewish. I went to go play in Israel, and then I got the opportunity to coach in the Middle East, in Kuwait. And just a naturally inherent curious person I am, it's like, oh, this is the other side. You got everybody has this idea of Muslims, Arabs.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go live on the other side. I'm gonna go live in this experience, and I'm not playing anymore, but I got a chance to be connected to the game,
Okay.
and a chance for me to slowly push away from the game
Okay.
where I wasn't playing, and it was an unbelievable experience. Number
Okay.
one, it was actually Dan Gibbs' father.
Danny Gibbs.
Steve Gibbs, he has Hoop Mountain out of Massachusetts.
Shout out to Danny Gibbs. by
Shout
the
out
way.
to Dan Gibbs, legend. So his father runs this basketball thing, Hoop Mountain. It's a
Mhm.
big recruiting service, and they have tournaments, they have prep school and everything, and they just got an email. Hey, we're looking to have guys coach over there. I ended up going out there. I coached out there for 2 years.
Right.
Work 7 to 8 months of the year, get to travel everywhere in between because I'm based right there. Doha in Qatar is one of the biggest airports in the world.
Yep.
So it was just an unreal.
Qatar is beautiful, by the way. One of my friends is playing over there right now.
It's anywhere in that Persian Gulf, man. It's like California. It was very similar to California weather.
Okay.
And unreal hot in the summertime.
Serious.
And we had Ramadan in the summer, so everybody was
Ramadan is
kinda
definitely
like
the summer.
double miserable.
People getting ready for Ramadan right now. About to start in like 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
I gotta find a place to celebrate.
Serious.
Yeah.
Yep. 2
No,
weeks.
man, I got to learn some Arabic out there. I mean, I got to learn about the culture, the people, especially I'm
But look and
coaching
again,
and training princes and princesses.
hear me out. Look what basketball. Look at where it's taking you. Look, you see what I mean? Like it's a beautiful experience, and a lot of people don't even get to have that. If that
No.
make any sense.
I
But
had a quote when I was 6 years old. This guy said, it was a basketball camp, my first one. I'm already then like, I'm going to be a basketball player. Fuck all these kids.
yeah.
I'm the best. And he said, you never know where the game will take you. And I always say that quote because I've been able to
Right.
leverage the game to get where I want to go.
Go.
Living in a top floor loft on the Persian Gulf, and I'm going to coach basketball for 4 or 5 hours for this day.
It's beautiful.
And I was like, oh,
It's
man.
beautiful.
like,
That's what I mean. Far as I'm sorry to cut you off,
No,
but far as LeBron's slogan, more than an athlete. That's the slogan, and that's you know what I mean. I think that touches me a lot because that was me since I was 11, 12 years old. Since I picked up basketball, I knew I was always more than an athlete. You know,
when you look down and just it's empty.
Nothing in there, right? But no, I feel like there's a program, or it should be a program out there to teach us young athletes. If they're not gonna pay us anyway, I don't know when that's happening. I don't know if they're gonna pay the kids, and they should pay us back too, our money from all the heartache and shit I had to go through.
I mean,
mentally.
I get hit up for like. That's the thing. I was young. You could bounce back from injury so much faster then too. I remember there was one play. I don't know if it was preseason, and we're playing 5-on-5,
Mm-hmm.
and I call a foul. It's against Dion, of course.
Oh my God, yo!
I butted heads with anybody. At the most, it was him. And
yes, for sure.
I call a foul. Next play, I go to the basket right on him again. He clotheslines me. I flip over, land on like my back.
Right.
But he got me good there. I get back up. It's fine. Ball in. There he goes. That's a foul, right? I'm like, all right, yeah, check in. Get the ball back again. Hit a 3 to win the game. But like, I think about if I took that hit now and the trauma even that hit probably had on me, just like not even physically, but even like post-traumatic stress of like getting flipped over, landing on your back and your head, and
I agree.
It explains a lot about relationships I have with people.
No, for sure.
Like just the high intensity.
Man, I miss those days though. Those guard groups was
That's
very,
the thing I miss, the battling, man.
bro. They always ask the best players you played against in college. Like people ask me who was the best guards, and of course I got Kemba Walker was definitely one of them for sure.
I watched that 6 overtime again recently.
Yeah,
Man, he was a freshman. He was
he was so good, bro. Like, and he's still good today. But I said the best players was in practice. Like people don't understand. Like that year with you, Dion, Trish, Carter Williams. Every day I had to bring it, and all of us was different. You was small and fast. You had Trish. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody
Trish was strong as fuck.
You know, everybody was different. Carter was tall. Like Dion was just a freak of just a free. You know what I mean? Like where everybody again, and every day I had to come to practice and bring it. If that makes any sense, I love the mental part of that compared. That really got me good. That made me who I am today, bro. I put this on my life because I knew, and again, I feel like Coach, if I wasn't good enough, he wanted to play Carter Williams, so I had to be as good as I can be. No, seriously, where you not going to take me off the floor? I feel like mentally with that, what's the word I'm looking for?
The mental
the approach, yeah, to be prepared for that helped me more than anything. It taught me how to approach life. It taught me how to approach, even like with the boring ass practices. That got me up for it. I knew guard group was gonna be intense, and you actually brought that.
Well, I mean, I just treat it like a job myself. Like, hey, you guys are all playing. If I'm coming to practice every day,
And bringing
this
it,
is a job. So if I outperform you, I should technically be getting more playing time.
But-
And that's how I saw it. So that's what motivated me every day.
but look what that did for us as a team.
Yeah.
But that's the effort. I feel like when you're looking at a team effort for everybody to be good, we was really good that year. We lost 2-3 games. You know why? Your mentality, my mentality, even Dion, even Carter Williams, he would cry after practice, and he'd be working on his
But then
game.
getting fired up.
My point exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
look at all of that as far as the team. It didn't have anything to do with the coaches. It was our approach to get the most out of that. Even with you got to leave there and go to class.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like where, think about it, and I think that's the same approach I take to life, especially when it's shit that you love. And at that time, I love basketball. I've really felt like basketball was gonna be paying me all the money, and I was gonna be taking care of my family, and I was gonna be the, you know what I mean, like the guy
Totally, man.
and not saying none of that happened. I love where I'm at today with just the experiences of alone and the relationships I built. You know, so say all that to say, it's not about making it to the NBA. If that's what you want to do, go after it as hard as you can, because I definitely did, and I'm sure you definitely did. But more so, like knowing is so much more that basketball can take you than just professional sports. Like just professional getting paid to play. You know what I mean? Like you can be a GM, you can be a coach, you can. It's so much you can still. I feel like if I wanted to make NBA, I still can be in the NBA. If I wanted to coach, I feel like I can be a coach in the NBA. You know. So just having those relationships is more than anything, and that's what I think I built over the years. And man, I'm in a good space with all of that because networking is key. And I network through the game, and that's why I use myself and I leverage. So I want to teach kids that, and everything is, the best teacher in life is experience. So
it sounds like we both have we've
yeah.
erased our attachment from the game, and we can talk about it.
Yeah,
still.
we
'Cause I know there's a lot of
love it.
Syracuse.
Yeah. That's
A lot of Syracuse people listen to the show. I know a lot are going to. So go
Yeah.
ahead, give us your favorite moment, or just start with the favorite moment you had.
at Cuse.
Yeah, at Cuse.
On the court, off the court.
Surprise me.
All right, okay. I would say that was a great. On the court, one of my favorite moments would have to be when we beat Villanova, and that large campus crowd. Remember that game? It was like 34,000. It's Andy's senior year.
I popped in that game.
Yeah, that game when we blew them out pretty bad. But being as though I was a Philly kid, my two top choices were Syracuse and Nova, and I chose Syracuse over Nova. And I'm a Philly kid, like I said. Nova, I think that game put us to number one in the country. Remember that year because Johnny, Eric, and Paul left the year before, and they didn't think we was gonna be good.
I mean, most Syracuse teams, whenever they
You know what I mean? Like, so that year was like, and that was the year. I think my I got national 6 man of the year that
coach
year.
was playing. Started
Coach,
Trish as a freshman
over me,
but then you were playing like the whole second half
because of the approach. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was like more, and I thank Michael Hopkins for that. Thank you, Coach Hop, for coaching me every day because I wanted to kill Coach.
Shout out to Hop.
But anyway, the approach of what I mean is that game, because I played so well against a team from, again, Villanova, who everybody in my city felt like I should have went, and I should have attended that school, and I did. I chose Syracuse. So for us to beat Nova that day, and it was a big Monday, it was a game day, and we went to number one in the country the next day. It was like a great. Man, it was never so better because if you think about it that year, remember when we lost to Lemoyne in the beginning of the year and going on campus the next day, I swear I thought we was going to get killed or assassinated by just the fans alone because we lost to a Division III
Syracuse
school.
fans are tough, man. They're passionate. They'll let you know.
Oh, but again, growing up in Philly, I was built for that because we got the Phillies fans. It's the same, So, man, they were so tough on me, though, Cuse. 1 minute they love me, 1 minute they hate me. But throughout the years, it made me who I was,
Yeah,
really
I think we were
did.
at the same time when, remember we always used to go to the casino just because there's nothing to do.
Right.
And it was my junior year, your junior year because you had redshirted.
Yeah.
And we're all in there. We're all just even like just hanging out because there's nothing to do for West Spring winter break. And
They don't know that though. People don't understand that.
Some blogger says something online that I think these guys are throwing games.
Worse.
And I think we're all under investigation.
That was the scariest moment of my life. And let me say this. That fucked me mentally, even still to this day, because they don't ask us. Where are therapists for that shit? Like, where they can just write about saying we throwing games because we in a casino, which we can be.
And we went on an 8-9 game losing streak at that point too.
No, hell no. We went on a 4-game losing streak.
I thought we were like 9-0, and then we went like.
We was 18-0, and we lost 4 in a row. We lost to Pittsburgh, who was the number 3 team in the country. We lost to Nova, who was the number 5 team in the country. Yeah, when we was 19-0, then we scored 18 straight. Yeah, so we lost to Pittsburgh that time. Then we played Nova right after that on the Monday. We played Pitt on the Saturday, Nova on the Monday. Literally, Nova was the top 5 team. We lost to them. Tough game. We come back, we lose at Marquette. Jimmy Butler. Teams always, Marquette always was tough.
Buzz Williams always had a great team.
Always hard.
Up and down.
Our kryptonite type of team. Pittsburgh and Marquette and Louisville was like our, they played harder.
Well, I think Pitino was always in coach's head.
Always, but you know what I mean? Like, where now we got Marquette, who we lose to on the road. Tough game. Remember, Deion got suspended that game. He didn't play Deion that game.
Why did Deion get suspended that game?
I forget. It was some argument. He didn't play Deion against Marquette at Marquette. We wound up losing that game, and then the bad loss was Seton Hall. This fucking guy, Jeremy Hazel, came in and shot.
Jeremy Hazel, dude, shot the lights.
We play zone, bro. That's any shooter. You know what I mean? Like, where he made 9 threes that game. Some of them, then they beat us at the Dome. Jordan Theodore. And next thing you know,
Jordan Teddy. He was a good guard, man.
Great guard.
Hard-working guard.
He was making good money overseas. Shout out to Jordan Theodore, by the way.
Shout out, man.
He's a good guy. But again, we lost 4 games in a row from 18-0. We was number 1 in the country at the time. Number 2. We wound up falling out of it. We probably going top 20. But I remember it like it was yesterday when that came out, because they were saying, remember they were trying to say my uncle was pointing. Like, it was like a whole big, me, Deion, and James Sutherland. It was the scariest moment. Guess what? We got UConn on the road the next game. Like, this is how tough the Big East is. We could even be easily going on a 5-game losing streak. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember like it was yesterday. I got up to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws to close the game out. And I'm in my head, I'm like, if I miss one of these, we already under investigation. If I miss this fucking free throw right here, bro, I just didn't know what was going to happen, man. It was like the scariest moment of my life. But to talk about all that, to say, man, I would play this game for free. You know what I mean? Like, for free, bro. Like, we never got paid to do that shit. So
that's the thing.
You know what I mean? Like,
but that goes back to that question about, like, hey, what is the value? What is the purpose? Like,
yeah.
Even if this outlandish accusation that someone makes,
right,
for you to go make money off what you're doing, it's like, again,
wrong.
That's cheating, but like still, it's like someone's trying to make money.
Yeah.
And these people are saying you can't
make money. Yeah, that's what I said. It's like,
it's interesting to know someone's circumstances. Like, for the people who've done in the past, Teddy Dupay, like, you know, were they just they really need the cash, and this is like the only.
Well, just think about it. You know, man, you be broke in college too, though. You know, but I feel like with us, I play this game for free today. Like, was the passions I do. You know, I never got paid to really play.
No, I mean,
like,
I was playing in the ABA. Like, I'm getting paid like, you know, a few $100 a week.
It doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean?
I got to score the first basket in that team's career right there. You know, I'm in a record book somewhere. It's like,
it's so much more than just that. Like, when you love something, it's not, you can't put a value to it. There's no money to it. And that's what we get from being athletes. You know, I love it. You know, I love to do it. I love training. I love just the team concept. That's what I've been missing since I left Syracuse more than anything. Just being a part of the family, like, you know what I mean, like the team concept that we had.
Same with the military. It's like, hey, where do you have your brothers?
Yeah,
like, that you battled with every day.
There you go. Like,
that can relate to you.
There you go.
Those hard, tough moments.
And that's been my biggest thing in business. Like, you know, really trying to recruit. I take the same coach's model where, you know, they go recruit kids to come to the university. I'm just not recruiting anybody just to come to this team. Even if you're good, you got to get personalities. Everything got to go together. And I use those same tactics in business. You know, when I'm looking for business partners, and we need to be on the same. We need to work together. I'm not even talking about do good times. Like, how are we going to react when a team scored 20 on us in a row? When Pitt scored 20 straight points, we was down 20-0.
20-0 on the road.
And on the road, and they cussing us out. We was down. They scored 20 points, and before we scored, I remember coming down just shooting a 3 and making it. That's how we got our first 3 points, and was just like, we had to get a bucket, and we scored 19 in a row after that. And we went on the 19 because we stayed together. It was just that was a great moment to see, like, a team can come out and just score 20 straight points and we don't get before we get our first bucket. But then we scored 19 after that.
It was an unreal time.
You know what I mean? Like, we're a team just gelling together and really standing together through tough times. And that's what I loved about, you know, what sports bring to you. It's the beauty of having your brothers or having people that I know if I close my eyes, like the drill we did with Hop, where you close your eyes and he put you. Was that Hop where I close you?
It was probably Hop. Only Hop.
Hop will come up with a drill like this where I close my eyes and Brandon Reese be behind me, and I have to literally fall back, no fear, no nothing, and believe that my brother is gonna catch me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just the trust factor in that. And you know, it's funny because you can play around. Like, fuckers will let you fall. You know what I mean? Like, where that was beauty just to know that I had brothers and we was all on the same page. And for us to be all, you know, doing things. I love catching up with Chris Joseph, even all the players, you know. I'm even thinking about, you know, flying.
Devo now, man. I remember getting deep with Eric, like, now because he's, you know, gotten really deep into spirituality.
Me too, by the way.
And I've like, you know, we're talking about, like, you know, reality and consciousness. And I'm like, I remember just, like, when I first got to school and we're talking about, you know, Obama and McCain and politics.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about this.
Yo, just having the locker room conversations is, man, this guy is crazy.
It's our own barbershop, you know? It's our own barbershop that we could just talk with each other and, like.
Man, you was wild, bro.
Yeah.
You was wild.
Yeah.
Man, you were one of a kind teammate.
But I miss old Hop because I don't think a lot of people got to experience Hop. Like, I know you definitely did.
Facts.
And, like, I did.
Facts.
Like, when I first got to Cuse, he was a drill sergeant on me. I mean, spitting in my face.
Same here.
Tearing me down. Like, I remember I had, like, I would fuck up on a play or lose the ball. And we're in guard groups, and we're going hard. And we were in Manley Fieldhouse, and he would just grab the ball and just punt it across the gym. Like, just, I can't believe it. That's it.
Man.
I look back like,
one time.
Oh, man.
I'll give a story real quick about Hop. One time I got into it with him in practice. This is my freshman year. I was crazy, by the way. We get into it. I think I cussed him out. He cussed me out. It was over. He calls me up to his office. After everything is over, you know, so I go up to his office, and he's sitting there in his desk. And he was like, shut the door. I sat down first, and he was like, get up. No, shut the door. So when I got up to go shut the door, as I'm shutting the door, he gets up, and now he's behind me. So now when I turn around, he in my face. He like, what's up now? Like, it's just me and you in here. I'll fuck you up.
No.
Look, and I'm looking in his eyes. Look, and I'm looking in his eyes. Because I just talked crazy to him down there at practice, and Coach actually let me get it off. Coach was laughing and everything. And I'm looking at Hop's eyes. I just grabbed his hands like, Hop, chill. But that's who he was, you know?
If he's
serious or not, he was just like.
He's also a crazy person, too, because he was a fucking professional and a great college basketball player.
The best at really getting the most out of a kid or of a person, you know? I take my hat off to him. He's done helped me out a lot. Not just on the court, but just off the court. But just dealing with life experiences. And that's one of the main reasons I did go to Syracuse. It didn't have anything to do with Coach Boeheim. I say this to this day. I went to Syracuse because of Mike Hopkins. And at that time, they had said he was going to coach at Syracuse, so they lied to us.
I mean, they thought that was going to be the coach.
When we was there, that's the reason I actually committed to Syracuse.
Coach got 1 year left. This guy, Mike Hopkins, is coming in.
Hey, you can ask Deion. Deion, myself, and Rick Jackson, we knew we was going to all play together, and it was going to be for the coach that we went to school for, and that was Hop. That never happened. Mm-hmm. So I felt like, Coach got to come up for something because he lied to us. You know, every year I thought, when Coach is retiring, that was a marketing scheme, which helped. I got to still get coached by Hop. I'm not going to lie because Boeheim just coached the games, but practice is where everything happens at.
Yeah.
And just preparing for everything I used to love. And that's what I mean by taking that same approach. Like when you prepare for a Pittsburgh or UConn, the focus that we used to have. You know what I mean? Like in guard groups. You know what I'm talking about. Like where that's having like a team on the same page to go out and win a game. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's taken me time to really appreciate it because like I know that I just went in there every day to work my ass off because I wanted to play.
Yeah, but you help.
I made sure I was studying that scouting report that was left on the desk by the bubble gum every day. Say, okay, how is Villanova going to attack the zone? Well, they're going to attack between the 1 and the 4, the 2 and the 3, and they're going to slash through that lane on the drive.
You know how
so
important you was, ready. Though? You know how important you was to that? And that's where I feel like you was underappreciated because we couldn't pay anybody to be how good you was to really imitate a guard at Villanova. You know what I mean? Like, you really used to make us pay. And coach, and he'd be in our era, Brandon Reese. If you think he kicking your fucking ass, what you think Scotty Reynolds is going to do? Like, he'll have his little, man, I'm in my head like, Scotty Reynolds ain't fast as this motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you just was good, but your approach helped us. And all of that helps a team win. Mm-hmm. It helps a team be successful, bro. All the way down to the managers. It's about your approach, man, to life. And again, I think that's a big missing piece. And when you into the real world, and as athletes, I think all big time companies should hire athletes.
Yeah.
So we should be the ones getting hired instead of you don't know anything about. No, we have that approach and that to win in life or just win in general. We have that. That self discipline, getting up every morning to go do something you love to do, and not even get paid for it.
That's the attachment, though. We have to let go of that. Like you said, we talked about at the beginning of the show, bringing it full circle. It's releasing the identity of who we once were, taking those things that we had and saying, hey, that was a part of me. That's who I am. But the things I'm going to bring into this new identity, I'm going to bring those great things with me, and that's going to make me an even stronger person.
There you go.
But we all got to grow up and let go of those things.
I agree. So, it all depends when you don't know, when is that time. I just know when that time was for me. Mm-hmm. Everybody's different. I always tell people when they reach out to me, how you. Cause I have some moments like I didn't know how. I don't know personally. I didn't know how to manage money. That was my biggest thing, and I felt like if I'm out here, as long as I got my health and my freedom, I'm gonna be able to make something happen. But the mentality of just managing money, I just never was taught that. So I think going through life, it helped me as I'm in business. It really helped me like get around people and educate myself, or like when I wanted to learn a new move or something, how I would go study the move or go practice that move. That's the same thing. I wanted to learn how to manage money. I go sit at a seminar. I took the same approach that I reflected and I took that same approach to get better at something. And I think that's what a lot of kids should do, mm-hmm. Especially if you spend your most time doing that, because basketball is life.
You come leaps and bounds, man. I don't think we could have had this conversation
for sure.
7 years.
No, for sure.
11 years ago.
Right.
When we first met. Yeah, we're crazy people. I mean, all athletes got to have. I think anybody who is going to be passionate and going to have greatness, and that doesn't include just sports. I mean, you think about any artist or some of these. This is to Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. You have to have that balance of your craziness, because that
you have
insanity,
to be insane. Yeah, you have to.
That drive you have, like for us to go out and
the belief in yourself too
after a dome game for 3 hours in the Mello Center by yourself, because man,
you had a bad game or you.
I don't want to go miss any more shots, but like there's a healthy and unhealthy balance to that, and you have to find that. Mm-hmm. But that if you can harness that is
beautiful.
It's
beautiful.
It's the thing that can equal to greatness.
I just remember like walking in there in practice when you and Andy started your whole macho man lifting weights thing. But to see what that did for our team, mm-hmm. and the approach, what it did for the locker room, if that make any sense. And you don't know how big you was for A-Rob at that time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because Andy applauded the person that you was. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense, like, you didn't just give a fuck. He had to give because he was Andy Routledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he would love to be. I watched it. I know it, and that helped me because
I never thought about that. But I did notice that though. Like he had to always he's Andy Routen's from Syracuse, Leo
so
Routen's son.
But he also, which I got to know Andy really well, was one of my greatest leaders. And why I say that, because he taught me how to approach practice every day the same way. But it was both of y'all. But I was more so looking at Andy. You know what I mean? But again, I didn't see Andy without you.
Yeah. Well, I like we said, like Andy will say too, I had the approach. It's like, oh, this kid just doesn't give a fuck.
He's fucking crazy, if that makes any sense. But you need that type of insanity. But that brought, for me, I was inconsistent with, especially when it came to work. And I'm just as talented as anybody. But as far as training and working out, that year it taught me how to do it. Mm-hmm. Remember when we run the sprints, when after free throw, everybody jog.
That's how I still train people. We go do the pyramid runs.
You know, like
4,
okay,
6,
but
8.
I'm talking about at the end of practice when we used to run the sprints when we go to the foul line.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you miss the free throw. I used to just remember you and Andy just be like always the first two in my head. Even if I'm not faster than y'all, let me run faster to keep up. And that made all of us, even when every practice we had that year, it wasn't like the rest of the years we just jog up. I ain't gonna lie, we jog up and down, and coach allow you to do it. But if you remember that year, we ran sprint. I don't care if we had a game the next day, we still battled each other with the sprints. And that team was just taught me how to be a part of a team, if that makes sense. It taught me how to play a role to the best of your ability, because I felt like I should have been starting, but I wasn't starting. I wound up still being 6th man of the year. I still was playing starter minutes. You know what I mean? Like where all you have to do is play your role to the best of your ability and be a part of a team. You know what I mean? Like where that team again taught me how to be really a part of a team and be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that's what everything. When I worked out for the Spurs, that was the first question they asked. Have you ever been a part of something bigger than yourself? And that's a great fucking question. You know what I mean? Like that's a hell of a question right there.
No, you gave me a whole different approach to looking back to those 4 years playing there, man.
Yeah.
Just different perspectives, because I always saw one perspective.
Right.
I wouldn't say narrow-minded, but you see how it was and how things were. But talking with you, man, I'm able to see now just so many things that I didn't get to see. And people are fans and crowds, they don't really get to see all the pieces that go into this big thing that's bigger than ourselves.
It's way bigger than ourselves, And that's, again, I learned it. Spurs, that was the first question they asked me, and it took me by surprise. It was like, have you ever been a part of something bigger than yourself? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, for sure. One, my family, and my teammates. I felt when I was on, it was bigger than me. And that year taught me that. I felt like I should have been starting. I worked my ass off. I lost 15 pounds that summer. I got in great shape for my redshirt year. I did everything I felt like ready for that spot, and coach didn't give it to me. Do I transfer? Why I didn't transfer? It was y'all. It was more a route where it was like, yo, I can still help this team be successful. And when you taste that, it was all she wrote.
Unreal, man.
We
can go on forever on that.
That was a great year that year.
We're going to wrap this up. Dude, thank you. This is a great catch-up right here, man.
For sure.
This is just the catch-up. This is the 7 years. We'll do one every 7 years now.
Wow. Wow, yeah.
And we'll fill in. No, we're going to fill in more. But yeah, let people know where they can find you. Let people know they can connect with you, work with you, or, collab.
Instagram, at Mr. Antonio Jardine. I'm going by my real name now that I'm older. I turned 30. Scoop is, everybody know me as Scoop, but Mr. Antonio Jardine is my ad name. Based out here in LA. I'm actually in the process of starting this organic juice bar in Philadelphia, in my neighborhood where I was brought up at, called Juice Scoops. So, I think that's gonna be something good, and as soon as Philadelphia or Pennsylvania pass a law as far as marijuana, I'm gonna be able to sell the juices with the CBD in it also. So
very cool. Yeah,
man, just very entrepreneurship for me, just being an entrepreneur, and I love business. So, that's just basically what I've been doing in my life. Oh, also I'm doing the Big 3 stuff this year too.
When's that gonna happen?
April 30th is the tryout.
Okay.
May
you gotta
1st.
try out.
Yeah, it's like a combine.
Okay.
May 1st is the actual draft. So that's why I said I need you, bro.
We'll get back into it. I'm just looking at the dates
right now.
Yeah.
I got a good 2 weeks to get my mind right to go into that with some time. I've been playing every day, but more so I want to start training now, preparing for that.
We gotta get 1,000 makes up again, man.
Yeah, we have to get at it. So that's why I'm happy you out here. So thank you.
We'll catch on film and everything. But everybody, first of all, Antonia, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Like I said, admire the hell out of you.
Appreciate
admire, even hearing and talking with you now about, where you were then and where you are now, and growing up, you've done the things you thought about me and battling with me, man. So, thank you for coming on the show, and I'm looking forward to kicking your ass again when we get back in the gym. I'm still an asshole.
Oh, I see that already, bro. I don't think you're ever going to not be an asshole. By the way, the biggest asshole you ever meet in your life, and that's bottom line. But it's a great person, great soul, And he means well, though. If
I
you
mean
know the
well.
person, oh, for sure.
That's just how I'm going to get it out of you.
Yep.
And everybody else, thank you for tuning in to the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. And yeah, make sure you share the show and make sure you find out where you can connect with Antonio or myself. The Bus Driver Experience. We're taking this everywhere. We're going everywhere. We're going to do everything and live everything because that's what I'm about. Right. I want to take on every unique human experience. So, everybody, thanks for tuning in. The Bus Driver is out.
This is the moment for those who